I'll be quiet for a second, but I'm going to be spreading the link around. Today is going to be a big day. Infrared over everything. Infrared over everything. We're going to spread the vision. We're going to spread the vision. Infrared is taking over.
All of these Maoists talking shit, get the fuck in here. I want to debate about Gonzalo. We need a Gonzalo debate. I'm ready for a fucking Gonzalo debate. We need it now. I know everything about Gonzalo, and I'm ready to destroy him.
That would be funny. That would be very entertaining. Yo, who's there?
No, I'm
Jack,
just saying.
What do you want?
But, nothing.
Who's Jack? Is he someone we know?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Gotcha.
let me try and get some of these Maoists in here about shit on me earlier. That fucking Jamaican jihad guy, the fucking LARPer guy, he needs to get the hell in here.
Let me check your Twitter. You got into a debate with some Maoist?
Yeah, because remember that kid that was like, oh, I'm gonna kill myself, and like he actually did attempt.
Oh yeah,
survive.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And these Maoists, I was like, I told him, like, I wasn't mad that he didn't die. I was like, okay, that's a good thing. But they're like trying to racial me about that.
What?
Oh, you don't want him to die. Yeah, you don't want him to die, so we're gonna racial you. You're a fucking fascist. It's like, what are you talking about, dude?
That's so deranged.
Yeah, they think fascism is when some fucking basement dweller kid who's depressed is fascism. That's what fascism represents. That's what it means. That's what it meant in history. Man, they're so stupid, dude.
Fascism is the exact opposite of what they think it is. Fascism is this. It's democratic socialism. That's what it is today. Just think about what democratic socialism is. It's fascism plus green energy. That's all it is. It's fascism plus green energy. I mean, how did fascism... What was like the contradiction of fascism, right? It was on the one hand, this particular, objectively particular group that on the other hand made universalist pretensions. With democratic socialism or even just Western leftism in general, you have the exact same contradiction of Western civilization, which is particular, determinate, etc., and so on, makes the pretension of being universal and cosmopolitan and globalist. And I mean, you see this like first with liberal universalism and neoconservatism. Now you see it with leftism, with wokeism. They use the same land back shit and arguments like that they use in America to say that to say, oh man, we represent the indigenous people of Taiwan, or we represent the indigenous people of wherever or whatever. They use this now in their imperialist agenda against Russia and China. That's what fascism is. Fascism is Western leftism. That's literally what it is. Fascism is Western leftism. Nothing more, nothing less. And not only is fascism Western leftism, the Western leftists are at the vanguard of it. They're the most advanced fascists of our day. Because they've become the most abstracted from their particularity.
Yeah, fascism, like Mussolini, he was like a fucking butthurt guy.
He was a leftist.
He became so butthurt that he was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna support the war. Fuck it, why not? And I'm gonna destroy the Communist Party in Italy. Fuck it, why not?" He went completely rogue. That dude was he was a leftist.
He literally was a socialist. He was a socialist before. He was a socialist at first. Something that a lot of people don't know is that part of how Marxism-Leninism became a thing was because during World War I. The majority of the Social Democrats, and at the time the Social Democrats kind of represented all the Marxists, et cetera, the leftists of mainly Marxists, to be honest, right? Mainly Orthodox Marxism. The Marxist-Leninists, the Bolshevik Party in particular, they broke ranks with the Social Democrats who decided to support their country in the imperialist World War I. That's how the distinction between Marxism-Leninism and Orthodox Marxism arose in the first place. That's how the distinction between Marxism-Leninism and social democracy arose in the first place, was that these social democrats betrayed their internationalism to support their countries and became the most vehement, chauvinists for their country during World War I. Like the left-right division, you have to think about this dialectically. What appears to be most left-wing can objectively be what is most right wing. I mean, what did Stalin say, right? He said that social democracy was the moderate wing of fascism. That's what Stalin said, and he was right about that. He was completely right. But it's even worse today, though. It's even worse now. It's because Now, the leftism is not just the moderate wing of fascism. It's the most advanced, cutting-edge wing of fascism. I mean, look at how Bernie Sanders and AOC talk about how they need to stop these petro-dictatorships, these petro-states, because of their green agenda. They use this environmentalism and green energy and so on to bully these countries who want to have oil, who want to have nuclear energy, who want to have nuclear power, to fall in line with the American imperialist agenda. You know, something completely unrelated, but you know how everyone gets pissed when we say we already live in socialism? I just get so upset about it sometimes because like they gaslight you into thinking that this is such a crazy conclusion when we literally don't even have commodity money anymore. We don't even have commodity money anymore.
That's the Jamaican jihadist guy. That dude's a fucking idiot. He said Henry Ford's a socialist. Like he thinks it's like he's just clout chasing. He doesn't even know what the fuck that means. He's just saying words.
I don't think they're just not. They're just not. One second. I forgot to DM something. One moment. Yeah, I think like when we say stuff that sounds crazy, it's not just random. Like this is stuff that we've thought about for a long time. Like, you know, here's what I want to debate someone on. This is what I've been wanting to debate someone on because I've done a lot of writings on this. I've got a lot of notes on this, et cetera, and so on. Ivan the Terrible was not only a socialist, he was a communist. And he was not only a communist, he was a great communist. And see, like stuff like that sounds crazy, but it's completely, utterly 100% justified. And there's a reason why Stalin said that Ivan the Terrible was the only person in history who could be compared to Lenin in respect to their state monopoly on external trade. Ivan the Terrible, he allied with the peasantry, with the popular, he had a popular basis in the people, and he used this to fight against the boyars, which were the landed aristocrats of the time. I mean, he even set up local democracies. His charters literally set up local democracies to curtail the power of the aristocracy and empower the peasantry. Not only this, like the crazy thing about it is that hundreds of years ago, he even had his own collectivization. He had his own collectivization, very similar to Stalin's collectivization. Now, it was not completely successful, I think, because they didn't have the technology at the time for this collectivization to really take full fruit. But what he basically did was he took most of the land from the aristocracy, and he gave it to this new institution he created called the Operkrina. And basically, these were people that answered directly to him. They answered directly to Grozny and to no one else. And he was the final holder of all the lands, formally speaking. And this completely outmoded the peasantry. And not only did it outmode the peasantry, it had the goal of creating a surplus, agricultural surpluses. And if you know anything about history, about communism and so on, the only reason why is because of the agricultural surpluses created by collectivization, by Stalin's collectivization. And Ivan the Terrible did a very similar thing. Now, he was not completely successful in this, again, I think because of his time, but it was basically he basically had like an incomplete revolution in the forces of production.
Keaton, do you have bring on that Illuminati red guy, whatever the fuck his name is. Get him in here.
I honestly,
let's get some debates going.
You guys are welcome.
Is there anyone
You're welcome to tag him? I'd like to make an announcement though. As of 32 minutes ago, it looks like the Supreme Court is going to overturn Roe versus Wade. So do with that as you will.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait a second.
Yeah, look it up. Look up, just Google search Roe v. Wade. Supreme Court counts to end Roe v. Wade in a draft by Samuel Alito, who's a justice. Now, I tell you what I am willing to debate tonight is the issue of abortion. If you guys want to have a really serious debate, I'll absolutely debate that.
I have no stance on abortion. I have no opinion.
Honestly, I'm not really that interested in abortion. I'm honestly just not. Like, yeah, I get it is an important issue, but like, as a man, I really just don't have like a strong stake in it. My only red line is this. I do think that we should respect people's conservative values. We should respect conservative women too. But
when I'm saying I'm willing to debate it, I'm willing to debate people who support abortion. I want to make that clear.
Yeah, I figured you're against it. I assume.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wait, so if they overturn it, if they overturn it, what does that mean? It's a state issue then?
I believe it means that federally abortion would not be allowed. I don't think abortion could be legal.
Like,
I literally just found out. I just got the update from EWTN, so like I know very little about it. All I have is verified that it's potentially happening.
I'm gonna have to look into it. Oh, Pesto Mine's here. That could be interesting.
Pesto, tell us about LaRouche.
Everyone should go to LaRouchePub.com and read all of the archives of the Executive Intelligence Review. And then what they should also do is make sure to sign up to get the Executive Intelligence Review mailed and emailed to you. And all you have to do is pay a small monthly or yearly amount of money to get all of that for free.
Wait, you have to pay to give it for free? I'm confused.
Yeah, as long as you subscribe to it, you pay some money, and then from there on, we will send you the Executive Intelligence Review.
Gotcha. That's a pretty good deal.
Mm.
Wait, what are you talking about, Pesto?
Executive Intelligence Review, which you have not subscribed to, I think, right?
No, I have not. It's my first time hearing about it.
Man. I think that there's been a problem maybe where...
Go ahead.
Because we keep trying to tell you guys that it exists, right? But who besides
EIR is
prison
actually...
has gone and read it?
It's really useful. It's really useful. I've used it to look into like they report on stuff like they have like an archive dating back to like the 70s and 60s that like covers all kinds of shit from like Anwar Sadat's airstrikes on Libya in like 1978 or something, and like just crazy shit like that. It's a really cool archive source.
Send me a DM on it, and I'll.
That's right, LaRouchePub.com.
Oh, okay. It's on LaRouchePub.com. I see.
Yes.
I'll take a look at it.
We got Daniel in here.
But I'll debate Henry on Ivan the Terrible.
Okay. Who's this? Let me take a look at
Prism.
Oh, okay. Wait. You don't agree with me on that?
Nah, bro. I think Ivan is cringe, and he's Cuckfin the garbage.
Okay. Why? Why do you think that?
He genocided the innocent Novgorod merchants.
I don't really know that. I wouldn't really call that a genocide.
It was a genocide, 100% genocide.
I mean, would you call like the Red Terror a genocide? I don't really think it was a genocide. I think
it was a genocide. That was a genocide. That was a political genocide.
And okay, in what sense was it a genocide? You know, like Ivan did not kill as many people as like you think he killed. Like
he killed a lot of people.
It's very, very much overestimated how many people Ivan the Terrible killed. But you know, like back then,
it's up there with Stalin.
Okay.
I'm not actually serious. I'm not actually serious.
You guys, I have great news. Okay, if you're American, the Supreme Court just repealed all women's right to abortion by repealing that Roe v. Wade thing. Okay.
Did that actually happen?
Yes, it happened. You can see a Politico. So it's a Simon Taib, Mazel Taib, Simon Taib, L'chol Am Yisrael, L'chol Im Yisraelim. A good sign for all of the nations of the world. L'chol Anshe Emes and all the people of truth. Shem Yikalel is Anshe Liberalizia. Shem should curse the people of liberalism, and they should be in hell forever.
Is this more Yosef?
Yes, this is Mar Yosef.
I thought so. I thought it was Yosef. So is this like I'm gonna look into this this abortion thing. Let me take a look at this. So
I just got back. What I missed?
Nothing really.
Abortion is going to be illegal in your country now because they were.
I was the one who announced that.
He did bring that up. I'm still looking into it.
Congratulations.
Isn't it kind of weird how like there's so little media about this, or like there's so little?
It is really weird.
It's because it just got like leaked or whatever it is. It was not officially
like 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, but isn't this stuff usually like blown up like before it even happens? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, usually like when there's like even when just like one justice will be like, I don't support abortion. Like there'll be a million news articles.
Yeah, I know.
And now we're getting close to it actually happening, and radio silence.
Yeah, this is like pivotal. Like it's really weird that there's so. I wouldn't have even known about this if you guys didn't know about it. And you guys only know about it because you guys are more interested in politics than like like a regular person probably doesn't even know this happened yet.
Yeah. No, dude, I bet like even the pro-life groups probably don't even know that it's going on.
Yeah, I just found the Politico.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at earlier.
Let's see. It's kind of a lot to read, but I mean, yeah, it seems like they voted to overturn abortion rights. Draft opinion shows. Okay. That's really interesting. That's really interesting news. Really interesting news. Let me check the chat. We got any? Let's see who's requested. Do we have any haters here? We can debate about anything.
I think there was a liberal in here. It might be gone.
Okay, well, I'm gonna bring. Okay, let me check this person's account. Let's see what they're all about. Okay, we have an anime. Wait, we have an anime fan who wants to come on. Maybe they want to debate us.
Henry, are you?
Am I what?
You're the showrunner, yeah?
Yeah, I'm a showrunner. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I'm the guy from Discord. I just made my my Twitter public like a day ago or 2 days ago.
The first time I'm speaking with you on voice. Yeah.
Yeah. Who am I speaking to right now? Actually, I don't know why, but I haven't actually learned to figure this. Am I speaking more Yosef again?
Me?
That's right. Okay. You're based, man. You're based.
Thank you, bro. You are based too.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna approve this anime fan. Maybe they want to debate us. Let's see what they want to say.
Pedophilia defender.
And did I approve this yet? Hey, state your business. What do you want? What do you want to debate?
Bro, abortion, bro. Women's rights, pro-choice. This is fundamental.
Woman seething, woman coping.
Listen, wait a second, Mario. Cool it. I mean,
okay.
Are you yourself a woman?
No.
So why do you? I mean, what's your investment in this?
Because it's proletarian feminism, as shown by China.
No, it's not. No, wait a second. Proletarian feminism? Are you sure? Because I feel like most Marxist women, they didn't say they were proletarian Marxists. They didn't say they were proletarian feminists. They just rejected feminism outright for the most part. They said, they believed in women's liberation, but they just rejected feminism outright. I mean,
I disagree.
No, read Kollontai. She literally was one of the most vehement fighters against feminism.
Read proletarian feminist theory.
Listen. I don't think you've read.
Wait, hold on. No, I can go beyond this.
Theory.
No.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's take this out of the academics. Let's take this into like even the moral. When does life begin?
This is a metaphysical argument. We don't care about morality.
No, it's not. When does life begin?
This is metaphysical.
When does life begin?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Even if it is a life, I don't care.
Okay, so are you alive?
I don't listen. I don't even necessarily agree with Keaton on this, but I can already tell he's about to win this debate. And I don't even agree on this issue. I'm pretty neutral on this, but I can already tell that this is not going very well for Ruka.
I gotta be honest with you, Ruka. I'm starting to agree with your position on abortion just by looking at your profile.
Oh yeah, that profile picture. That profile picture is like it really sways my.
That banner.
You're all fucking patriotic.
When I saw that profile picture, I was like, damn, I'm gonna be a liberal now.
Damn, bro.
I was like, oh fuck.
I'm busting out the wallet. I'm busting out the wall. About to give $500 to Planned
if anyone deserves to die, it's the patriotic socialist because they fucking worship this.
Get the fuck out of here!
You're so deranged. So here's the thing. Here's how I know you don't listen. You don't. I don't think you value life. I don't think you value the life of women. I don't think you value.
I definitely don't value the lives of people like you. Yeah, you guys don't get the wall.
Yeah. So I think you're a fascist because one of the only political groups in history to just deny the sanctity of life based upon political agreements. We're the Nazis. We're the fascists.
So Xi Jinping is a fascist because he allows abortion.
No, Xi Jinping never said he wanted to kill me.
No, he allows abortion in his country.
Does he kill people who disagrees with it? No, he doesn't. He doesn't. Do you think he just murders? Do you think he just goes and murders peasants who disagree?
He definitely murders people who disagree. He murders dissident billionaires all the time.
Yeah, dissident billionaires, not normal people who disagree with his political opinions. He
based Xi Jinping.
You think I'm comparable to a billionaire? You
can both get the wall. You're both fucking white. You're both.
I'm not white, actually. I'm black.
I disagree. No, I don't even.
No, yeah, you disagree. You disagree.
I disagree.
I disagree with the idea that you have any fucking intellect. I disagree with the idea that you have any.
You've ever read a book.
I've never read. You're a Marxist, right? You're a Marxist.
Yeah. So let's discuss Lenin on self-determination and how this applies to indigenous people.
Oh my. Okay. So one, Lenin's view on the self-determination of nations is not the only Marxist-Leninist view. If anything, I would say his view was too much influenced by Europe, by the social democratic movement and so on. And Stalin, and even more so Mao's view on the national question was more correct. Secondly, infrared actually supports the self-determination of the nations in America.
Yeah, infrared is not a serious Marxist. I don't care what he says.
Oh, I'm talking about, I'm not talking about how, I'm saying like infrared, like the people, the whole group, we all support the self-determination of different nations in America. We're not against that. But at the same time, we are civilizationists. We don't just believe in nationalism. We believe in civilizationism, you know, because America is not a nation. America is multinational.
America is a prison house of nations.
No. America, maybe now you can say it's a prison house of nations, but beneath all of that, there's a real objective America, which has arisen out of the influences of the Black Belt, out of the influences of our Hispanic brothers, out of the influences of Protestantism, out of the influences of many different things, and out of the influences of Native Americans. I mean, we have towns that are labeled after Native Americans. I think all of this comes together in a very beautiful fashion to a great civilization. And you know what? As a communist, I want to awaken that civilization. I want to awaken the sleeping giant, which is the great American civilization, which my people have played a great role in creating. I want to awaken that sleeping giant.
I don't think the society looks very beautiful for the indigenous people who had their land stolen. The civilization does not look very beautiful.
Hold on. Are you indigenous? No,
but I still think they deserve rights and they deserve their land.
We all believe that indigenous people deserve to have rights. So
we support land back. So we all support land back.
No, we don't support land back. Land back does not give indigenous people rights. Land back would perhaps allow some indigenous people to privatize land so that Jeff Bezos can buy it back.
Who said anything about privatization?
Land back is literally just a Jeff Bezos grift because he wants to own more land in America because he doesn't want the American people, which the Native American people are included in, to really have land. Did you know that like the Indian aren't they talking about like Taiwan and shit now? Or no, Tibet? Aren't they talking about Tibet now? Aren't they aligning with Tibetan separatists who are objectively on the side of American imperialism against China? So is that really like the kind of group you want to be supporting now? I don't think so. I don't believe in land back. I believe in land reform. Which means we give the land to the people. We give the land to the American people, and we work together with groups with different Native American tribes to, in some way give some justice to the treaties we've made with them and to their rights for a real place and a real stake in this country and on this land.
I mean, if we look at Bolivia, for example, the land reform in Bolivia.
Yeah. Okay, but
it was done mostly to benefit indigenous people.
You bring up Bolivia, but like in Bolivia, a far greater percentage of people have indigenous like heritage, you know,
because they didn't get genocide like in America.
Yeah, so why would you bring up a situation that's utterly and completely different? Like
because America is a unique situation, obviously. So it's
kind of stupid what you just said. It's like you admit that the comparison doesn't work. It's kind of dumb.
The analogy is hard for you to understand.
The analogy was bad. It was a bad analogy.
You just can't understand
because there's a fundamental distinction here between comparisons that don't work.
Buddy,
listen. You just got
the difference.
Like, why is everyone having a hard time debating me? Like, okay, what do you imagine land back? Okay, let me ask you a question. I'm gonna let you speak. Let me ask you a question. What will land back look like in America for you? What does that mean in America for you? What does land back mean?
Stuff like honoring treaties that we fucking completely disregarded. Stuff like supporting indigenous communities who have no water, no electricity, no internet. Stuff like giving back more federal land, stopping drilling on indigenous land, giving them more sovereignty.
Well, here's the thing.
That land is for everybody.
Wait 1 second. Let me. I want to do this 101. Okay, so here's the thing. The problem with your description of land back is that it happens to be one of dozens of different descriptions of land back. Now, that description of land back does not actually in any meaningful way contradict the kind of vision that we have for America. I mean, if you watch our socialist patriotism video, we actually speak of honoring treaties, to giving Native Americans more land, et cetera, and so on. I just don't think we should be associating this with the Jeff Bezos psyop. I really just don't think we should be associating this with liberal Jeff Bezos. It's a Jeff Bezos psyop.
Jeff Bezos is literally sinking millions.
Literally, the main group.
Are you hold on? Are you under the impression that Jeff Bezos, who's one of the world's richest figures, is sinking millions of dollars into some program because he genuinely cares about the struggle of Native Americans or something?
But I don't think.
Sir, may I ask, are you a mayonnaise monkey cracker?
Of course.
Oh, get out, deported.
No, I'm the communist Italian fucking Nazi, whatever the fuck. But,
you're Italian? Are you Southern Italian?
I think so.
Okay, then maybe you're not mayonnaise, but I'm just saying, it's usually the suburban, the suburban, how would you say, eggshell color walls.
Hey, wait a second. Let me paint a much more beautiful vision for America for you than just land back. My vision for America is that we have land reform. Now, this will mean literally giving people more land and more property, but it also will mean stuff like UBI, right? Because we have the fourth industrial revolution going on. There's automation, there's the gig economy, et cetera. People are going to have to own some sort of means of production, some sort of fundamental means of production in this new economy to not just be serfs effectively. Now, secondly, what I envisioned in respect to the Native Americans is, like you mentioned, honoring the treaties we made with them, giving them more land, and even if they so choose, sovereignty and so on. But I have a much bigger and a much greater vision than all of that, because I see that the Native Americans who have lived here for thousands of years have created a beautiful mythos of the American land. They've created a mythos of the Appalachians, of the Wild West, et cetera, and so on. And I believe there can be a cultural fusion of their poetic, spiritual, et cetera, roots here, with also the experience of Black Americans, of European Americans.
Let me ask you.
No, let me finish. I'm painting a beautiful picture. European Americans and Hispanic Americans. We can have a society that combines all these great cultural influences into something beautiful, where we create beautiful works of art, beautiful works of literature, where we start to work together with Mexico, and we create American civilization on this continent, which is greater than any one nation in this country, which is truly civilization. I think we can be a great land civilization. I think we can be a great land civilization, like Russia, like China, like India, et cetera. We can be a great land civilization. We're just at the starting point of that. The task for communists in America is this great task of creating us. We are literally tasked with the behemoth task of creating an American civilization, an American spirituality, and an American mythos, and giving more definition to the American people. That's our task as communists.
I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
What do you think? I don't necessarily agree with this, but it's something I've read about. What do you think about the Black Belt thesis from Communist Party USA that they had, back in the 20s and 30s?
Yeah, I agree with it. Actually,
oh, you do? Really?
Yeah, the black belt. I think we mentioned the black belt in one of our videos. Actually, one of the video that I made, I think we actually mentioned the black belt. I think there is. Here's something I think about the black belt though. I think that in these states there's a kind of interesting overlapping of the black belt and also the Bible Belt. And I think when this there's a new culture here, really, a new culture here. And I think that there needs to be some kind of dialogue and reconciliation between Black and white Southerners, who I think in many ways represent the real American country. And
you mean like Christian socialism, like the Sandinistas?
I am in a sense talking about. I don't really like the term Christian socialism. I'll be honest, but I am talking about. I am talking about Protestantism. I'm talking about Christianity. Yes, but I'll explain why I don't really like the term Christian socialism a lot. I don't really like all these terms that add like something before socialism. I just think it's almost like a little.
I think Keaton has something to say.
Wait a moment. I'll let Keaton speak after this. I think in America, especially in the southern states, we have a great Protestant tradition. Now, I know we have many Hispanic brothers here, and I obviously respect Catholicism, but in the USA specifically, we have a great, especially in these southern states, we have a great Protestant tradition. I think that tradition can be brought back. That's why earlier today I made that post about how Protestantism was the spiritual core of abolitionism. We need to bring back this kind of Protestant fervor that can unite the black and white people in America towards a common spiritual and class interest. You can speak, Keaton.
Oh yeah, Burke, I was going to ask you. You were bringing up Nicaragua.
Yeah, the Christian socialists, the Sandinistas.
Right. Well, I mean, kind of. Not exactly.
Is that?
Have you ever been to Nicaragua?
No, I've seen a lot of like stuff.
Yeah, I was there in November. I shook Ortega's hand in November. I mean, yeah, like they're Christian, but it's a very it's a Nicaraguan form of Christianity, and also it's not like you're mandated by the same. Well, first off, it's not a one-party state, and also it's not like you're required by law to be a Christian or anything like that. So it's not like a theocracy by any stretch of the imaginations. But it's just it's how it's developed everywhere throughout history. It's a merge of the economic needs and the dominant culture. Ben lives in Nicaragua, so you should bring him on because I can do that right now.
You see, I feel like the picture that people paint of us is a lot different. I mean, we have Keaton Mansfield here, who's literally worked with socialists in Nicaragua, but you all will act like we are chauvinist. We are international.
People are talking about Nicaragua. I live here. And I just wanted to point out that, this is a great conversation. I have no, interjections aside from this. But, the Sandinista government is the ruling party here. And they're very much at odds with the church. The church played a massive role in the 2018 coup attempt by the United States. You had preachers teaching people how to get rid of bodies. It was really bad. So while there are a lot of religious Sandinistas in that regard, there's also some major divisions there between the socialist aspect of the country and the church. So that's just all I was saying.
Yeah, of course. I guess from what I've seen, they play off, a larger, aspect of Christianity in Nicaragua, because that's kind of how any socialist movement will work. It'll be based off, the aspirations and of the working class. But
yeah, I mean, one thing that will surprise anyone who comes here is that a lot of taxi drivers will have FSLN flags in their cars, but it'll also be next to the flag of Israel. And that's not because they're Zionists. They don't really understand what's going on in Palestine for the most part, but it's because there's a lot of evangelical influence.
Are you Jewish?
I am, yes, yeah.
Why are you not raised with Jew? Why are you not being shamed in mitzvahs? Why not?
Say that again. Sorry, I'm a bit.
Why are you not being shamed in mitzvahs? Why are you not keeping Torah? Okay, you need to do tshuva. Okay.
Okay, I'm a bad Jew, but
Shane, Svetan Green Khadir. Okay, Svetan Green.
All right. Do we have any haters here? I think we've already exhausted the conversation with Ruka.
I can still be a hater. There's still things I can hate on.
Sorry,
okay, what do you want to?
You like anime? You can.
What do you want to hate? What do you want to hate on next? What do you think about my views about Ivan the Terrible?
I think Ivan the Terrible is underrated, but also. Oh, let me give a take.
Okay. I think halakha.
Well, no. If you agree, just don't even give it because I'm not interested. Just what do you have? What's your problem with us? What's your bone you got to pick?
Let me think. I do think you guys definitely mythologize American history to an unhealthy extent.
No, we don't.
People let me finish what I'm saying. People I saw this at the CPI USA thing. People like Abraham Lincoln, they're representations of the bourgeois class. They do not represent the working class. We need better symbols for the working class, not these bourgeois icons.
I got a really good reply to you on that. So I think Marx would greatly disagree with you on that response that Abraham Lincoln represented the bourgeois class, because Marx called Abraham Lincoln the single-minded son of the working class. He saw Abraham Lincoln's revolt against slave owning as being a necessary condition for working class uprisings in the future, because without the liberation of the black people in America, it would have been impossible to really let the forces of production flow. And it would have also been impossible for the working class in general to be liberated, as their wages would be kept down by slaves, essentially. So Marx himself would disagree with you on that. Mao also would disagree with you on that. I mean, Mao adored Lincoln's legacy so much so that he wanted to make him a part of the Communist Party. He literally did. That's how far Mao's love for Lincoln went. Now, maybe you could here's the thing. I don't think Lincoln was really just a representation of the bourgeois. I think he really did have a proletarian spirit. I mean, you might be able to argue that maybe Washington represented the bourgeois in a popular front with the masses, but with Abraham Lincoln, I think we've gone beyond just mere bourgeois revolution, and it's a lot more ambiguous. It's a lot more proletarian.
Well, it was progressive.
Working class. No, it wasn't just progressive. It had much more proletarian implications, because this liberation of slavery itself was a prerequisite for the proletarian consciousness to arise in America, for proletarian revolution in America, and according to Marx, not only in America but also in Europe.
Well, one thing though is that obviously, socialism. First of all, he did operate under electoralism. He was not a socialist.
That doesn't mean he wasn't a socialist. That just means that the political organization of America at the time was obviously not a dictatorship.
He was in a bourgeois
party.
Wait a second.
Yeah. But here's the thing. I mean, just because he was just because American democracy at the time was still bourgeois does not mean that he himself represented the bourgeoisie.
But Marx said you should always support the working class party.
Yeah, but wait a moment. Abraham Lincoln was compared to a dictator because of the kind of dictatorial way in which he acted. He was compared to a king and a dictator. So, and you could even say that Abraham Lincoln was almost like a temporary dictator of the proletariat in America, not a long-lasting one, because, as you said, there was no powerful communist party. There was no proletarian party. But he himself.
Can I say one thing?
Go ahead.
But any dictatorship of the proletariat, they practiced democratic centralism, which Abe Lincoln did not practice.
What you're talking about, that can only be practiced in the context of a proletarian party.
Yeah, he wasn't a proletarian party, is my point.
But just because he didn't have a proletariat party does not mean that he didn't represent the proletariat. I mean, according to you,
well, the proletariat cannot be represented by a bourgeois class.
Hold on,
Henry, hold on.
Are you saying Lincoln didn't read enough Lenin?
First off, Marx disagrees with you. Lenin disagrees with you.
Mao disagrees with you. But let me put it this way, though.
I don't have to agree.
No. Wait a second. I can explain this very, very simply. So your premise is that Lincoln represented the bourgeois class, but you can't use this premise as a justification for that very premise. So the fact that you bring it up again in this argument is kind of circular and redundant. Secondly, the fact that Lincoln was not a part of a communist party does not mean that he did not represent the proletariat. There's been many leaders throughout history who are not in communist parties, but still in that moment represented the proletariat. In that moment of abolishing slavery, he definitely represented the proletariat. His power went beyond the power of his party and the power of a president normally would have. That's why in Britain they denounced him as being a dictator. He was literally compared to a dictator. He was very much a temporary dictator of the proletariat. You haven't really done anything to show that that's not true. I mean, Communist Party, just because he came before the existence of the Communist Party in America, that doesn't mean that he was not a proletarian leader. It just means that he was ahead of his time. I mean, that's why Mao wanted to posthumously ratify him as being a part of the Communist Party, because, I mean, at the time, obviously, he couldn't be formally speaking a communist, but in spirit and objectively, historically, and so on, he represented the same force in history that communism did. That's why if Mao had his way, he would be a part of the Communist Party.
Well, he didn't even want to end slavery at first. He mainly wanted to preserve the Union. It's like his wife came from a rich slave-owning family as well.
Yeah, so here, actually, it's a little bit complicated. Actually, Lincoln did more or less sway towards the side of the abolitionists. He himself was not like a hardcore abolitionist, but over time, he moved more and more towards the side of the abolitionists. This is why Frederick Douglass, on occasion, would praise him and gave such a beautiful elegy of him, is because, while yes, that was not his most hardcore, passionate, devout interest, and it was to some degree something that arose also out of objective necessities and so on. He did come to play that role, and he was the closest to an abolitionist that ruled America, that could have ruled America. So
like even John Brown, even John Brown was like much more radical than Lincoln. So why should
but John Brown, John Brown was a great leader, but he did not gain hegemony over the country and actually end slavery. I mean, I would say John Brown also was a proletarian leader. I mean, but
he was more proletarian. He was actually like doing revolutionary, like on the ground.
I think you just think that he's more proletarian because like you associate him more so with your like, I don't want to say this, but like, like Maoist, anarchist, like revolutionary fantasies of just like, oh man, he was on the ground. He was on the ground, man. No, it's about political hegemony.
It's two
politics
things.
Is about hegemony. It's about hegemony. It's about gaining power, political power. Lincoln gained political power, and with that political power, he waged a war against slavery that to some degree, not fully, but to some degree liberated the black people of the country. Not fully, obviously. It was an incomplete revolution, but it was
John Brown was consistent on his beliefs throughout, whereas Abe Lincoln was much more of an opportunist on this position.
Yeah, this is the problem. You say I look at history mythologically, but I think you're the one who's looking at history mythologically, because you look at history based upon how consistently a leader led up to your moral views. I look at history wait a second. I look at history like a dialectical materialist, and I don't see simply what were the subjective, in particular, and private, personal intentions of a political leader, but what was the objective reality of that political leader. Because when it comes down to whether or not Lincoln privately or subjectively, personally, was like hardcore about abolishing slavery, that's neither here nor there. What matters is the objective reality of his position. That's the dialectical materialist way of looking at things. You look at things objectively, not just subjectively. And you see subjects like Abraham Lincoln as being a subjective and political expression of a greater revolution in the forces of production that was going on. Lincoln came to represent this revolution in the forces of production, whether or not he personally disagreed, whether or not he personally was as passionate about abolishing slavery or not. He objectively came to represent this.
So you're making a good point. What I'm trying to say is like Mao would.
I am making a good point.
What I'm saying is that Mao, like people like Mao, they understand that this type of behavior leads to opportunism if you're not consistent on these.
No, people like Mao, like you say what you're saying what Mao would have believed, but we actually know what Mao believed.
Just hear my point. Just hear my point on opportunism.
Like we know what Mao believed about. Problem. Opportunism is the real. Listen.
Can we let Daniel speak?
I will in a moment. But look, saying that if we recognize the objective achievements of a figure in history who may not have always been personally as consistent as we want, we will slip into opportunism. Why are you so scared? Like, this is such a paranoid fear. Mao did not have this fear when it comes to approaching history. Now, maybe if you're talking to someone contemporaneously, like in real, like today, and you see someone's not being consistent, that would be grounds for some suspicion. But I mean, historically, we know what happened with Lincoln. And that's why Mao was one of the greatest praisers of Lincoln. Now I'm gonna let's let Daniel speak. Rev, do you want to unmute Daniel? I'm not really that adjusted to how all this works.
I'm here.
No, he's got it.
I'm here. Thank you very much. I mean, okay, I'll be brief and try to communicate from my standpoint, which is informed by my study of LaRouche, but. Read Frederick Douglass's eulogy of Lincoln. I beg of you. Douglass spoke, first black man to speak in front of the president, the vice president, the heads of the Supreme Court, the majority leader of the Congress and so forth, etc. That kind of thing. First black man to speak in front of such a high-level U.S. governmental representation at the inauguration of the Freedmen's Memorial, which is the first memorial that was ever built for Lincoln. It was 11 years after Lincoln's death, his assassination by British agents. And Douglass was inaugurating a memorial that was built entirely with the contributions of slaves who had been freed. Read what Douglass says. I don't need to go into it in depth. You can look at it. But I can tell you that he makes clear that Lincoln, he says Lincoln was the white man's leader. He was not our president in that sense. He was not our our man in that sense. And I'm just paraphrasing here, but that he did the right thing, and we had faith in him to do the right thing, which transformed everything. And he makes clear that the fact that Lincoln was devoted to keeping the Union together first, that was his first devotion, was something that Douglass totally understands and supports and appreciates, while at the same time acknowledging that that's not what he wanted, or not exactly what he would have wanted, or to say that that's not who he would have wished Lincoln could have been. But then he realized this is what Lincoln needed to be, because the Union was under massive attack by the British Empire in financing the Confederacy, in supporting all types of lunacy, and of course in the 30 years of economic degradation that had happened as a result of the shutdown of Hamilton's National Bank. And John Quincy Adams, who was the mentor to Lincoln, a young Lincoln when in the House of Representatives, was when Quincy Adams was in the House of Representatives, who had been the leading person speaking against slavery. If you look at the speeches of John Quincy Adams, the only person speaking against slavery every single time for his entire time. Of course, he was in the Senate, I believe, and then the president, and then he was in the House of Representatives for a very long time. And he was standing up and fighting against this evil of slavery. Lincoln was with him, effectively mentored by him. And it was John Quincy Adams who forecast the Civil War would happen because of the shutdown of the development of the United States, the internal improvements of the United States, which had been possible through the National Bank to guard the United States against the role of private finance of the British Empire, the French, and so forth, and to actually be able, in other words, financial oligarchy, and to actually be able to control the nation's economy and finances for the benefit of the common welfare. That was shut down. You had 30 years of economic breakdown. The South was not developed. It was maintained as a plantation economy with this evil, horrendous evil of the Confederacy, supported and advanced by the British, but just absolutely evil. Look at the Confederate Constitution. Okay, what do they legislate? They include, or what do they include in the Constitution? They include, number one, of course, chattel slavery, but as a part of the Confederate Constitution. But you know what else? They forbid the use of public funds for internal improvements. They forbid the development of the physical economy through the construction of infrastructure platforms to actually lift humanity out of a lower state and into a higher one, a lower state of productivity into a higher one, a lower state of culture into a higher one, and a lower state of humanity into a higher one. And if you take a look at what did Lincoln do? What did Lincoln accomplish? Lincoln, at the beginning of the war, set out to bring about the transcontinental rail system. And after the bloodiest war that had ever taken place to that point in the United States history, vicious, disastrous war, the United States was more productive economically than when we went in. Why? Because of the policy of internal improvements, the policy of the transcontinental rail system, which eliminated the control of the British over the seas as the deciding factor in commerce in the United States. And we had the ability to exchange, and actually develop the internal economy of the United States because of that transcontinental system. And this is, of course, a part of the effect of Henry C. Carey, his economic advisor. So I want to bring that to people's attention and then point to this, and this is where I'll conclude, as a concept of what should be done today. This is why, in my view, what were really appropriate were for members of Infrared, were for people across all spectrum of the political situation to actually come forward and fight for these policies. Today, the Belt and Road Initiative is the alternative to the present system, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, the Eurasian Customs Union. These present the basis for a new system that is parallel to the IMF, in other words, separate from the IMF transatlantic financial oligarchical system. And the Chinese, the Russians, and now the Indians are increasingly moving towards that new paradigm. That's what we should be fighting for in the United States. And this is why I'm constantly promoting the World Land Bridge and the LaRouche Plan for the USA, which is to connect the United States through a network of high-speed trains to the Belt and Road over the Bering Strait Tunnel. These are the visions that I think can actually, save the Union, like Lincoln saved the Union, maintain a nation that's organized, return it to the idea of a republic for the common welfare of the nation and therefore of humanity, and that this is something that need be applied now because we're at the very brink of thermonuclear extinction, and people who block on that are blocked. We're right up against the edge of thermonuclear war, and Putin has been exceedingly clear about the threats. So finally, I just want to invite people. Well, actually, I won't do that because hopefully I can stay on and talk a little bit more. But we're having a youth event this Saturday, which I think people should join to discuss it from this perspective. So that's my contribution.
Now, Daniel, if I'm not wrong, that youth event is going to be at 11 a.m. Eastern time, and it's going to be very easy to attend if you go to the RSVP link on your pinned tweet on your profile, twitter.com/Burke for Senate, and go to the pinned tweet. But if I'm not wrong, people will be able to RSVP and receive an email as to the Zoom link, the YouTube link, and all the ways that they can ask questions of the Schiller Institute members and their guest speakers, right?
Yes, and I'd like to make a formal invitation again, which I have made, but I want to make it again, especially to Henry, to Rev, and to Keaton, and to Prism, everyone here, but to make sure that, I want to invite RTSG, I want to invite Infrared, I want to invite CPI to send delegations to this conference. It is not a matter of saying that, you're joining our event as something, other than a forum for discussing reality, which is that we're very close to extinction war. And there's no reason to believe that NATO, that the United States is going to back off of this. Everything that they've shown is escalation.
When is it? Where is it at?
That's going to be online on Zoom, 11 a.m. Eastern, this Saturday, May 7th. And my pinned tweet, which Rev just shared, thank you. You can click there.
Gotcha. All right. Does anyone else want to debate? We're probably not going to be having this space up for very long because I think Haas is going to be going live soon. So
in an hour probably. Yeah.
Yeah. Probably like in an hour. So we need to get some debates in when we still have time.
Here, hold on. Here, Benjamin.
Here, also, I should mention, Rev. So I did some load digging. So all that the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade will do is basically allow state legislature to decide on abortion.
That's what I was thinking it was. That's what I was thinking.
That's all it does.
It can't be federally enforced. It's a state thing now.
It's still really major, though. That's like crazy.
Yeah, that is.
It's unprecedented, is what I mean. It's like unprecedented.
Oh, you bet. No, as soon as Roe v. Wade falls, it's only a matter of time.
Why are they doing this now while all this shit's happening? It's like they just sneak something underneath the rug.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I mean, finally, I think some news outlets are picking up on it. But it's weird that it came out this late. But I don't know. It's hard to say. There finally is a conservative majority in the Supreme Court again. But it's been there for like a year at least. So I don't know why it didn't happen earlier.
When are they going to put big tech on the Supreme Court? Never.
Yeah, I know. Well, and I should mention though that when you go to overturn abortion, you got to make sure you have those safety nets there in place. Otherwise, you'll create a whole other set of problems.
But yeah.
So is anyone? It seems like most of the people here are people who like us. Is there anyone here who dislikes us? If there are, just send a request.
There definitely is people.
Yeah, if you dislike us, send a request. I will debate you, or one of us will debate you.
A Mahdi person, like the person with the mushroom profile. I know they don't like.
Hold on, wait, really quickly. Benjamin Rubenstein, are you there? He's not here. Then never mind. Yeah.
Who's the person with the mushroom profile pic? You can bring them up.
Can I
am here. Sorry, what's up?
I want to ask you something. Why aren't you religious? Why aren't you Orthodox? Be Orthodox Jewish, not Orthodox Christian. Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll give you the real answer. Mostly because I was more religious as a child and I faced a lot of discrimination because of it. So I stopped for a very long time, and I've only within the past year to 2 years started to like observe in any way again. So
observe what?
That's the gist, yeah. To observe in any way again. In the past, I've always just been like culturally Jewish.
Okay.
So
here,
but it's a recent thing that
I want to help you with this though. Look, is it okay if I message you? I'll send you an American number that I have from a while ago. And would you like to message me on there or no? Because I want to help you with this. But yeah, I do Kirov in my spare time.
You do what in your spare time?
You know Kirov? You know Kirov is or no?
No, I have no idea what that is.
Helping people who are more secular Jews, becoming helping them become religious. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You can message me. I mean, I also like, the history is a big thing to me. So I try to understand it through that perspective as well.
Okay. So I'll message you right now. And this is an American number that I have. You can message me there on WhatsApp as Rosh Hashem. And I'll send you some other stuff about, Judaism as well. But yeah, just message me anytime I send you my number. So yeah.
Okay, and what's your name again? Sorry, your speaker thing isn't lighting up.
My Twitter name's not my real name. My real name's Yosef. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
My Twitter name is Palti. My Twitter name is Palti. Yeah. Yeah. By the way, Henry, I don't. In the future, honestly, in the future, I'm just saying, if you see somebody with like an anime profile, there's no really point in debating them or listening to what they have to say. They're not.
Yeah, like dude told us.
Wait a second. Yeah. But I don't bring people on to debate me because I think they're going to be like intelligent. Because I assume most of the people who disagree with us are probably not people just like hate us. They're usually not the smartest people. I just brought them on because I wanted confrontation. I wanted someone I could combat ideologically to display my ideas. And really anyone will do. And, whoever wins, whoever comes out on top in the marketplace of ideas, that it just is what it is. So if people disagree with us, people hate us. I mean, people have been like talking about us, like all these. I have an account that's about 600 followers. And I have accounts with like 6,000, 10,000, 7,000, etc. talking about me, attacking me, etc. But when I go live, no one wants to debate me anymore. I just don't understand it. Where did all this hatred go? There's so much hatred for us. So where is it all now?
They're escaping, my friend. Yeah. Yeah.
These guys fucking reply to my tweets all day while I'm at work or whatever. Then when I'm free and when I'm free and I can actually debate with my voice, they don't show up. I mean, the one guy who does show up, like, he tells me he wants me to die multiple times. But besides that lunatic, no one else has the guts to face me. It's like, are all these other socialists really that scared?
Yes, they are.
I'm literally just a normal guy who studied Marxism a little bit. That's all I have. Just debate me.
I want to debate that David guy again, for that economist guy. But he fucking
that would be interesting.
Dude, I destroyed him. He couldn't believe what I was telling him. He was like, "Oh my god!"
Well, he lost when he started arguing that there was no difference between gold and fiat. That's when he like completely lost.
Here, if you ever need somebody to do like a religion debate on this thing, message me anytime, right? Unless it's Friday or Saturday, okay? But yeah. Secondly, I just want to say this really quickly, though. Thank God for repealing Roe v. Wade. Baruch Hashem is Baruch. Okay, Baruch Chai Elohim. That these Moloch worshippers, they can't sacrifice kids and eat their flesh anymore.
All right, let's take it easy, guys. Let's take it easy, guys.
He's I was a little bit not so sure.
Easy. Keaton, what'd you say?
I said I was not so sure about you at first, but I don't know. I'm respecting now.
I think you two would get along very well.
Henry, do you think there's a dialectic between patriotism and anti-patriotism?
In what sense?
In a way that it's not just patriotism.
Actually, yes. Actually, I do. Actually, I do. Actually, I do. Because something I've noticed is that, so either way, both the patriots and the anti-patriots in America, they share something essentially and fundamentally in common, which is that they're both objectively speaking, American, right? And so what this contradiction really shows, I think, is something kind of not obvious, right? The ones who said that they were patriots are the least chauvinist. And then the ones who pretend they're not patriots are the most chauvinist. Because if you look at these anti-patriots, these people who are against patriotism, they end up being the most vehement supporters of America's imperialist agenda. And I think the true reality of this anti-patriotism is a kind of chauvinistic patriotism, a kind of neoconservative, almost woke patriotism for the American imperialism and globalism. And so here's what I think about it. It's like, either way, you're an American. Now you have two choices. You can own up to this and take responsibility for being an American, take a responsibility for living in this country, for eating in this country, take responsibility for the American flag and so on. Or you can deny responsibility for all of this. And when you deny responsibility for all of this, you make a pretense to yourself as a kind of global citizen, as a globalist, I should say, citizen. And that itself, ironically, is the very form of American imperialism, which is this denial of American determinacy. American imperialism is the denial of the idea that America is just like every other country, a determinate, real place with national realities and boundaries, right? And these anti-patriots want to deny that because they want, because implicitly they think that their way of life, their morals and their values should stretch all across the world. They think that they should have their nose in Taiwan. They think they should have their nose in Ukraine. Then they should have their nose up a woman's hijab. That's how fucking insane these people are, because they think their values are universal. So yeah, I think there is a dialectic there. Everything is the opposite of what it appears.
I will tell you this. My values are universal. I think all women should cover their hair under the law. I do. I believe that it should be law that women fully cover their hair.
Who's speaking? Oh, is that
me?
Prism? Oh yeah, it's Mario Yosef. Listen. For people who don't know, Mario Yosef is a bit of a character.
Character.
Yeah, I mean, a bit of a character. But yeah. So I mean, does that answer the question pretty well about like?
Yeah. I was just wondering your thoughts. It wasn't really more of like a question in terms of like, I don't know, as if like I don't know stuff. I was just more like wondering what your thoughts were on the anti-patriotism patriotism dialectic. I'd say anti-patriotism, I would say, has played a leading role in post-World War II America, which is what caused so many problems, I think, to arise in the late 20th century and like 21st century.
Yeah, I agree.
Dude, people don't even talk to their neighbors no more, man. It's like
that. I think there's a crisis of sociality in America.
Hey, wait a second, guys.
We got to debate this guy. He's back.
We got someone, yeah.
Well,
so I'm not familiar with this guy. So,
get this guy out of here! Oh my god!
No. What do you want to debate about? What do you want to debate about?
What's up, revisionist?
Yeah, y'all are reacting.
Wait, 1 second. Wait. First, are you Chinese?
No, he's LARPing as Chinese.
I don't know what LARPing as Chinese means.
So wait, are you Chinese?
I don't know what
he's not Chinese, and he said that
I
he's
don't.
Not Chinese.
Shut the hell up, you fucking Indian shit. I don't know what LARPing as Chinese means. So.
Are you? Wait a second.
I don't understand what that is. I know what supporting.
Can you answer my question?
I know what supporting China.
I didn't ask you if you supported China. I asked you if you were Chinese.
What you asked, bitch? I said I know what supporting Chinese.
No, you're a little bitch. Listen, you're a little bitch who has no clout in your own. You're a little bitch who has no clout in your own country. You have to
Excuse me, hold on, Henry.
You have to feel that Asiatic, powerful energy that you don't have because you're a little bitch, you little cuck. You got nothing going on in your own country, so you gotta steal China's clout. You gotta steal China's clout. I got clout in my own country. I got clout in my own country. You don't got clout in your own country.
You're a little bitch.
You parasite. You parasite. You're a parasite. And you're a cuck. You are literally a cuck. You are literally so much of a cuck that you have to borrow the masculinity of another country in order to be a man. That's how much of a cuck you are. You literally have to borrow China's masculinity to be a man. That's how much of a cuck you are. That's how much of a cuck you are. That's how much of a little bitch you are.
Henry,
you have nothing going on for yourself. You have nothing. You have no pride. You have no strength. You have no pride.
My friend,
you have no pride.
Henry, how does it feel knowing that the real will be forced on you? and
listen,
you bring
listen.
comes
More
your
Yosef,
idols
shut up.
will
More
be
Yosef,
destroyed.
how do you, okay. Listen. More Yosef, you gotta stop interrupting, all right? Because I really want to just completely demolish this guy. This guy, apparently he's pretty obviously not Chinese. That's why he won't answer. And because he has no manhood, he has no clout, he has no manhood, he has no strength, he has nothing in his chest. You know when a man like hits his chest, there's something there usually, right? He has nothing in his chest. So he has to steal China's masculinity. He has to steal that Asiatic masculinity because he has none himself. He's literally a cuck. He's like literally a cuck. He has to borrow the masculinity and the power and the virility of another country because he's that shameless, that hopeless, and that much of a little bitch. That's literally what he is.
And you're a spineless fucking cuck.
No, you are. You literally are.
You're a bitch.
No. You say I'm spineless?
Bitch.
You say I'm spineless? But I defend my homeland. I defend my homeland. What do you defend? You don't defend anything.
You are a pussy. You're a hoe.
are a pussy. You're a pussy. You're a bitch. Any man who does not defend his homeland is a bitch. That's what you are. That's what you always been. That's all you have. Your heart is shallow. Your stomach is hollow. Your bones have no marrow. You're a little bitch. You're a little cuck. You have to steal the clout of another country in order to be a man. You got nothing going on for yourself. You got nothing going on for yourself. Oh wow, you've been saying the same thing over and over again. You sound like a broken record, you fucking dumbass. You can't even think like you're not even smart enough.
He's destroying you.
Smart enough to think of like two insults.
He's destroying you.
You're so fucking dim-witted. I wouldn't even mind if you were like you had some like rhetoric or something. You got nothing. You literally got nothing. I'm arguing with a brain dead land back NPC. Did he just leave? Did he leave?
No, he's being stupid. He's like glitching.
Learn how to
He's
speak.
glitching. He's glitching out.
Listen, I know how to speak. I think you're the one who doesn't know how to speak.
No,
you're the one
you
who doesn't
don't.
know how to speak.
You're stupid. You're stupid. You're retarded. You want to debate? Let's debate about something.
Let's see who's stupid. Wait a second. You want to see who's stupid? Let's debate about something. What do you disagree with?
You're just gonna spout off at the mouth. That's all you do.
No,
just spout off the fucking
will you
mouth.
debate me or will you not debate me? Are you
debate
afraid?
you about what? Debate you about what?
What do you disagree with? What you said I'm a reactionary. Why am I reactionary?
Because you fucking call yourself a fucking American patriot.
Yeah, because I live in America. And because America's my homeland, and I'm going to defend my homeland. Unlike you. Listen. Every Marxist Leninist
this is why I won't debate you.
Because you're not going to let me say 10 fucking words before you interrupt. You fucking listen. Every Marxist Leninist in history has been a patriot.
Oh my gosh, you won't let me say 10 words. Oh my gosh.
Do you have a rebuttal? Do you have a rebuttal?
Like I was fucking saying, there's no room. I'm fucking speaking, so be quiet now.
I'll be quiet if I want. You're speaking because I allow you to speak.
Like I was saying, there's no room at all to be patriotic about this shitty imperialist capitalist regime. Nothing. No reason to. There's nothing. Absolutely not even the name America itself.
Really good argument.
Not the people, dude.
The name itself.
Wait, no, Keaton, be quiet for a second, because I just want to. So, is that your argument? Just like being patriotic is bad, like patriotic bad.
Calling yourself an American fucking patriot.
Yeah. So I can explain this. No, but listen, I can explain this very simply. I can explain this very simply. Are you going to repeat the same thing? Or are you just going to repeat the same thing?
I'm fucking talking. I wasn't done.
You literally just repeat the same thing.
I wasn't done. So like I'm saying.
So guys, do you think we know what he's going to say? I think we know what he's going to say. He's going to say patriot. He's going to say patriot.
Calling yourself an American patriot while fucking calling yourself calling your fucking self anti-imperialist is fucking reactionary, and it's a fucking contradiction, and it's stupid.
Okay, so I'm gonna teach you about dialectics a bit.
You're not gonna teach me about anything. I'm gonna teach you.
The entire point of dialectics is that there's a unity of opposites. Things can appear to be opposite and yet essentially be the same. So you say America is imperialist, but when we actually analyze what American imperialism looks like, we analyze what American imperialism is ideologically. American imperialism is not based in this kind of explicit American patriotism. It's based in liberal universalism. That's been the basis for American imperialism, at least since the neoconservative movement. I mean, even the neoconservatives base their chauvinism not on an authentic love for their country, but on the idea that these liberal values were universal, and that this was the civilized free world, and that was the uncivilized world. And so wokeism is just an evolution of that. So when we actually look at the ideology of American imperialism, it's the exact opposite of patriotism. I'm a patriot because I don't believe that America is universal. I believe that America is one country among many countries. It's a country just like any other country.
He left.
And wow, he got defeated that fast. Well, I'll finish anyway for educational reasons. America is one country just like any other country. It's not a globalist. America in its reality, it's not globalist. It's not international. It is simply a determinate country, a determinate civilization with determinate national realities. And this is the exact opposite of this liberal universalism. We are determinate. We are particular. We have limits. Our morals do not determine the morals of every society and every place. We are our own place. And because we're our own place, we have our own determinate civilization. We have a responsibility to that civilization. And the way this responsibility is expressed is precisely by leading the people in a patriotic revolution against these imperialist, globalist, deep state machinery that is not only liquidating the cultures of the world, not only trying to destroy Russia and China and trying to destroy Islam and trying to destroy these beautiful, beautiful civilizations and religions and cultures, but is also trying to liquidate and destroy America's culture, America's civilization, American national realities. That's why I'm a patriot and an anti-imperialist. Because the only way to be an anti-imperialist is to be a patriot. Just like how Lenin, he spoke of the love for the great Russian nation, but what did he also say? He basically said that the royal family and the aristocrats, and the elites were the ones who were making a fool out of that great nation. So for Lenin, the way to show true love for the Russian people was precisely to overthrow these thieves and these cosmopolitan elites who were liquidating the Russian civilization. I mean, they were selling out to Britain. I mean, their country was being led into a war against Germany by the British. It did not represent Russian interest. And so Lenin's revolutionary defeatism was based upon patriotism. I mean, what did Mao Zedong say about China? Wait, can you guys still hear me?
Absolutely. Keep going.
Okay, what did Mao Zedong say about patriotism in China, but then also in Japan and in Germany? He said that in China, patriotism takes the form of a national liberation movement because they're fighting against imperialists trying to take over their country. But he said that communists in general must be patriots. And so when he spoke of Japan, what form did this patriotism take? Again, it took the form of revolutionary defeatists. He said that communists in Japan must be revolutionary defeatists, that communists in Germany must be revolutionary defeatists, because Hitler in the Japanese empire were betraying their people and leading their people into adventurous wars that were not to the benefit of the people. I mean, it's very common. This is a very common sense point that contains great dialectical wisdom, and it's something that's just been the case for Marxism-Leninism. I mean, since the beginning, Marxism-Leninism has always been leftist. It is only the American leftists and their American exceptionalism that have sold you the lie that Marxism-Leninism can be anti-patriotic. They sold you this lie that communists hate the people. They try to tell you that communists hate the people. Communism is about loving the people. It's always been about loving the people. There is no communism without love for the people. That is what communism is. Full point. Loving the people. And the people are not some international globalist jellyfish. The people are your people, the people of your homeland. And from this love of your homeland, of your determinate people, can the basis of internationalism come about? Because while the form of the proletariat and of the people are determinate, there is a universal struggle. There is a universal struggle against these globalist elites. We share a common enemy in these globalist elites, even more so now than in Lenin's time, because now we don't even have like multiple imperialist powers. We literally have a unipolar world order centered on Anglo-American imperialism and globalist elites who are the enemies of the American people, the enemies of the Chinese people, enemies of the Russian people, etc., enemies of the German people, etc., and so on. Communism has always been about loving the people. Internationalism has been about loving your own people, and based upon your love for your own people, working together in a win-win way with the peoples of other countries, and fighting the common struggle against the imperialist bourgeoisie, and revolutionizing the forces of production, unleashing the forces of production. But you want to know what is universal? The revolution in the mode of production. We communists, what unifies us communists materially, objectively, is this objective revolution in the forces of production. We want to unleash the forces of production. We want to awaken humanity. We want to let the forces of production flow in an unprecedented way. I mean, that's what Stalin did. That's what Mao did. I mean, that's what Xi Jinping is doing right now. And that's what we need to do in America. We patriots will revive the American civilization and unleash the forces of production.
Comrade Star, speak.
Hey, I was just wondering, I don't want to waste y'all's time. I was just wondering if someone can ask Infra, whatever, to unblock me, but I don't really have anything substantive to say right now.
Wait, who are you? Wait a second, 1 second. I have you blocked.
What'd you do, Comrade Star? What'd you do?
Yeah, I don't really block many people. I don't have you blocked. I actually don't have you blocked. I just don't follow.
No. Has.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not gonna ask him to unblock you. You seem kind of suspicious. I mean, you say you're. I don't know. I don't know. Are you like? What are you? Are you an anarchist or something?
I don't really use labels. I genuinely. Why
did he block you?
I don't know. There was a take of his I disagree.
Yeah, that's not allowed. Yeah, no. Wait a second. Yeah. Disagreeing with our takes. That's you don't do that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, dude, you can't break the bound. You cannot break the people's.
We are not a George Soros open society. We're a closed society. We are this is for us. We're not just gonna align ourselves with anyone and everyone. You're either with infrared or.
I'm not interested.
Let me put it this way. I
was just interested in having discussions with us. But if you want to block me and if y'all don't want to talk,
you want to speak to Hodge,
you're gonna have to ask him.
You don't really want to do that.
You're gonna have to ask him. I mean, he's gonna be hosting a space. I think probably not too long from now. Just gonna have to ask him. If you're like someone who disagrees with him about something, you want to debate him.
It won't be hard to talk to him.
He's looking for people to debate. So.
Okay, but it'd just be nice to be unblocked. But yeah, if he doesn't take advice from you, that's
I'm not gonna ask him. Like I'm telling you to ask him. Like I'm not gonna advise him to unblock.
How do I ask him if he has me blocked? That's the thing.
You can join the call still.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can still join you can still join the space.
This one?
No. Later on. He's gonna have a space, and if someone else.
No, when he puts up spaces, I can't join the call because he has me blocked, unfortunately. But again,
listen,
I understand now.
Do you want to? Okay. If you want to debate him, I'll let him know. But if you don't want to debate him, it's kind of a waste of time.
Go ahead and let him know. I appreciate that. Okay, goodbye.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Later. Is there anyone else who wants to debate about anything?
Who's growing? Speak now. What are you doing here?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I've been here for a while. I had what was it?
Is that George?
There was no.
Okay. Go ahead. What do you want to debate about?
A specific difference was yesterday over something very specific that he was talking about in the moment, and I kind of forgot exactly. I was kind of here to see if I could remember that.
So you don't remember what you wanted to debate about?
No, it was something that kind of happened in the moment when he was talking about it. I don't remember exactly what it was. It was pretty important.
If it's something you want to talk about with Haas, he's going to be hosting a space a little bit later. So just
Yeah, I know, but it doesn't matter. It's something that I forgot about that he was talking about yesterday.
Is there anything? I mean, I know we were talking about Lysenko yesterday. Did you want to? Is there something? Yeah, is that what you were talking about?
Hold up. No, it wasn't Lysenko. It was before Lysenko. I remember that. Lysenko is not something I really have in.
I mean, before that, he was talking about that lady with the the canyon between her mouth. I think that's all he was talking about before Lysenko.
Was that yesterday? Oh shit, that wasn't yesterday. Holy shit, days have just flown by. Never mind. That was a while ago.
Yeah, okay. So do you have anything you want to say right now here? to debate
right now? Fucking go. This is actually really great. We should be pulling more people from
George,
great.
Debate about Raytheon.
That is not a debate I'm gonna have. That is stupid. Okay, I'll bring it up. I'll bring it up now because I don't want to bring it up to Haas because I think it'd be wasting his. So yeah, this whole idea that basically finding a way to make money off of these parasites, because I mean, not even parasites, because right now one of the only productive centers that the United States has is our weaponry. So like if even though it goes to a horrible cause and
Let me slow down for just a second. That is pretty much the only industry. That is like the primary industry. In a way, like war is America's primary industry, but like that it doesn't have to be. Like, okay, I'll give you an example. So I was reading some Jehu like a couple of days ago, and he was basically talking about how modern monetary theory is the basis for American imperialism, because since 1971 and the end of the gold standard and the fiat dollar, we've had like dollar imperialism, basically America using the dollar as the universal reserve currency has been able to borrow endless amounts of money, except that money, instead of like being invested into productive industry, it's invested almost like into destructive industry, right? It's invested in war, which is, I mean, it's like quite literally it's invested in destruction. So in that sense, it's not really productive, but I don't think it has to be that way. I mean, I think the whole point of our
in war, a lot of things that we produce for war can be repurposed for people.
Yeah, that's true. But okay. So what's your that's absolutely true. I mean, most war things have like dual purpose, right? Like you can say on the one hand, this can be used as a chemical weapon. On the other hand, it can be used to like, I don't know, cure cancer or some shit, right? So I don't think you really want to debate. I think you just have an interesting idea, right? So what's your idea?
My idea is to invest in these companies, despite the fact that they already take from us, find a way to make money as people who have a different vision than this company by investing in this company and kind of using that, seeing if we can make, a profit off of that, even though, the industry itself is destructive, and then use the money that we have invested and has grown in these industries to combat not combat the industry so much as combat the system that focuses entirely on just that industry, because I mean, even after we have revolution and there is a change in the means there is a universal change in how things are produced, we're still going to have weapons. It's not going to go away.
Well, so your basic primary idea, which is like to invest in an industry that's not halal. I mean, yeah, okay. I mean, I get what you're saying. Like invest it in a kind of very pragmatic way, and then use that money for the Communist Party or whatever.
But Henry, he's talking about Raytheon. This is George. George was discussing investing in a Raytheon.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, Raytheon specifically was just an example. I was talking about any. I multiple times mentioned that it was any
more profitable currency, investing in currency. I don't know. Like, I'm not giving you guys financial advice, right? Like legally speaking, I'm not. But I think investing in currency might be the most profitable. I mean, imagine if you invested in the ruble when it was like,
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing.
No, but that's like 4x.
No. Actually, like here's the thing. So I think we're going to have a currency crisis in America.
Damn.
Because if you think about it, the material, like the only material basis of the dollar is the petrodollar, the oil, right? But as America's geopolitical hegemony starts to wane and gets reduced, that's I mean the dollar is basically going to crash. I mean, American oil reserves, I don't know if you saw those charts, but they were really just dipping. They've been really dipping and declining lately. So I think there's going to be a currency crisis. I mean, there already is. It's already inflation right now, but I think it's going to get much, much worse before it gets better. So if you want to invest, I would invest in an alternative currency. I don't know.
Henry, I would say this though. Do you know?
I mean, is the peso too tied to the dollar?
What do you say?
What do you say, George?
Is the peso too tied to the dollar?
Is the what?
Peso. Mexican peso.
No, it's not. We don't have parity dollar with you guys. Sorry.
Huh? Well, I am half Mexican.
A parity. We have reserves in dollars, Mexican speaking here, but we don't. We have not paired our peso with your dollar.
Okay. But I mean, it keeps on getting converted, and I don't know. Specifically, me, sector places in Mexico, everything I've seen. There's even parts of Mexico that use dollars almost exclusively. So it's kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah, especially where there is a lot of expats, and that's not the rule like in the general bank or in the central bank. We don't have like parity dollar. That's only for tourism or maybe for some expat places like San Miguel de Allende or something.
Well, cool. Yeah, I guess that's the top at Raytheon, and people were really pissed at me about it.
All right, do we got any like vitriolic, just like rabid haters who think we're the worst people in the world? We gotta have someone like that here, right?
Excuse me, my name is Tabitha Bingsby. I would like to debate you right now on why you are white supremacist.
Is that you,
Henry? I would say, yeah, but Henry, there's a weird contradiction with the dollar and China because China holds, China holds the most U.S. debt, right?
Yeah,
it holds the most. I think it's like a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, if the dollar devalues, then they won't be able to purchase Chinese goods.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. That's basically why the dollar, because of situations like that, not only with China, but with other countries, that's basically why the dollar has survived for so long. But I think that China has.
China could. Yeah, but they could screw over the dollar, but they're not. I don't think.
Yeah. But here's what I would say. I think China does not necessarily want to bring about the end of the dollar, but I think it has seen since the 2008 financial crisis that it's the end is coming, right? I think they've seen since the 2008 financial crisis that the end of the U.S. dollar is coming, and so they've been preparing for this since 2008, and especially with the Xi Jinping era to combat this. And they've been doing this in a variety of ways. I mean, one way, for example, is the way in which they're restructuring the material basis of trade. Like they're basically creating their own polarity with the Belt and Road Initiative. Another way they're doing this is they have this thing called Made in China 2025, I think it's called. But the vision is much longer than that, where they're trying to produce more high-end goods and so on. So I think they're doing a lot of proactive stuff to like build their economy up, make it more and more independent from America. I don't think they want the dollar to like crash or end now, but I do think they've already seen that it's like something that's not really preventable long term. Speaking,
this is why I get kind of confused with the word multipolarity. Is because the way I view polarity is the dollar, but there's never going to be another U.S. dollar.
That's the thing. That's like the whole point is like the dollar is unipolarity, basically. The dollar is the financial basis of unipolarity, right? But the idea of multipolarity is like not that there is a new like dollar per se, but almost more so like there's like, how do I put it? It's like there's not just.
I see it as no polarity.
No, it's not. It's not going to be no polarity because in place of the end of American unipolarity, there will be new financial institutions and economic institutions and trade networks that exist, but there just won't be a single one that's at the center of it all. I mean, that's like basically the point. It's like even for example, when there was the Soviet Union versus America, there was bipolarity. That's what they called it at the time. They called it bipolarity because there was the Soviet world and there was the American world. There was the Soviet, like financial system with the states that were, in their hegemony per se. And then there was the American world and its financial, and basically the American world and the Bretton Woods institutions.
I don't think the Soviets ever really had a chance. I mean,
they didn't have a chance at winning, but they did have a polarity.
Well, it's the reason I say is because America is basically the first country who discovered planned economics through data. I mean, they're like the first to ever discover.
Yeah, but polarity. I would say polarity predates I would say polarity, American unipolarity. I would say it starts at the end of World War II. And
yeah. That's when American.
But here's what.
That's when American.
Here's what I would say.
They discovered the planned economics for data. That's when they first discovered it, and only America had.
Yeah. But here's what I would. I mean, even Michael Hudson actually makes the point though that the Soviet Union. The word he uses for it is kind of like ideologically charged, but he even makes the point that the Soviet Union had a similar system in respect to the states and its influence as America did in respect to basically the world. I mean, with American unipolarity, you have a more advanced socialism. You have a more advanced decentralized socialism in these based in these financial institutions, right? But this just means that their polarity represented a more advanced, I guess you could say futuristic or future-oriented trend in history, while the Soviet one was an older, it represented an older trend in history. But they still had separate polarities. They still had separate systems. There still was a Soviet world. There still was a Soviet financial system, et cetera, and so on. And I think with China, it's even more the case than in the past, because I mean, what China is doing is it's taking this American socialism, this American unipolar socialism, and the planned economy based upon data. It's taking that even further. It's doing that even more successfully. I mean, it's like how Michael Hudson literally says, he says America's the most planned economy, but it's planned poorly. China's planning, its decentralized planning, I think has already gone even further than America's. I honestly think it has. I mean, I don't think it will just be no polarity, because I think there will be new financial institutions and systems that exist.
No, there definitely will be. Yeah, you're right.
They'll be centered on these I think these large geopolitical blocks like China. China's the first example, but also Russia, because also polarity, while it does refer to financial institutions and systems and so on, it also has political implications about the nature of sovereignty in this new era. It's just instead of in the multipolar world, sovereignty will have almost like a civilizational basis. There'll still be the sovereignty of nations, but Russia, for example, will be a big player in its geopolitical sphere. China will be a big player in its geopolitical sphere. And so on. And I think we're seeing that explicitly return with Russia's intervention in Ukraine, because beyond the financial institutions, there's also the global political precedent and the legal precedent that's been set by America's foreign intervention and so on.
Do you know Hudson's position? Hudson says, I'm pretty sure he basically says only America really has sovereignty, if you really think about it.
That was
definitely not Europe.
Only America had that. Yeah, that's my whole point. Though only America has sovereignty right now, but multipolarity is precisely the reality of there being multiple hegemons, not just American sovereignty, but also Russian.
I see multipolarity as everybody having sovereignty.
Not every. I don't think it'll be everyone has sovereignty in the same sense that America does, but there'll be there will be, how do I put this? It's so you know how America right now is sovereign over the world, right? I think in turn from this, we will see that there's a kind of Russian sovereignty in its area, in Eastern Europe. This doesn't mean that the nations that exist around Russia will have no sovereignty whatsoever, but Russia will be the geopolitical. And maybe even at some point the economic center. China will also be the geopolitical and economic center of its area. The way I would describe it, and this is is a little bit of a crazy description. The way I would describe it is that we're seeing the return of great land empires. Polarity right now is Atlanticist. It's an Atlanticist polarity. In the age of multipolarity, there will be a turn back towards land. And this is the significance of Dugin, is basically that when he speaks of multipolarity, he's also speaking of the victory of land over the ocean. We're going to see the return of great land empires.
This is why I promote the world land bridge, because I don't think Dugin has like a security architecture for polarity. He just kind of sees it as it's our empire and it's their empire.
Well, no, yeah.
But it's not really a security like project.
Well, he's not
kind of what the World Land Bridge.
Yeah, I don't think he's. Yeah, I just don't think that's his focus. I mean, I think it's almost like implied that there will be a new security architecture. I just don't think it's his his focus in drawing that up. Really, you know what I mean? I just don't think that's his focus. But the World Land Bridge really goes hand in hand with Dugan. Because think about it, the World Land Bridge is like quite literally the victory of the land over the ocean. It is like literally the unity of Eurasia with America, which prior to the World Land Bridge and the multipolar world was basically like in a great ocean power, a great Atlanticist power, or as he says, a thalassocratic power. But in reuniting with Russia through the Great Land Bridge, America returns to being connected to the old world. America becomes connected to America again becomes a land power. This is like the ultimate victory of the land over the sea and the ultimate reconciliation of this geopolitical dialectic of land and sea power that's existed throughout history. Like, I think the World Land Bridge encapsulates Dugan's vision even more so than a lot of the shit Dugan says. It's like the completion of geopolitics. It's very beautiful. It's very, even just as an idea, it's very, very beautiful.
Pesto, you have something to say?
Us people who are advocating for the World Land Bridge, we are against geopolitics. It is moving past and away from geopolitics and towards a real peace, which is...
What do you think geopolitics is? How would you describe geopolitics?
Geopolitics is, in the way that I hear it, is nations being very careful and competing with each other and not operating for each other's benefit.
Let me stop you there. I'll explain to you.
Is that wrong?
Yeah, I would say that's wrong, yes. I'll explain to you what geopolitics is from the Dugan standpoint. So geopolitics is a very, I guess you could say, new way of looking at the world. Dugan compares it to Marxism in the sense that with Marxism, you have the contradiction of the proletariat and the bourgeoisie. You have the class struggle at the center of history. Geopolitics is an alternative way of viewing history as being between the contradiction of land power versus sea power. This is actually like the main point of Dugan's geopolitics, is that throughout history, there has been a contradiction and a conflict between land empires and sea empires, between land powers and sea powers, and land also takes on a metaphoric sense as well, because what Dugan says is that telluric powers or land powers are also more conservative, they're more grounded, they're more rooted. So you can also look at this ideologically as the contradiction between conservatism and liberalism, or the contradiction between Sparta and Athens, right? So what Dugan is talking about is this historical phenomena of, and for most of history, the world has been dominated by land empires. And especially in modernity, these land empires suddenly they fall from the world stage, and the British Empire, which is a sea-based empire, arises as a negation of this. Along with this is also the arising of liberalism and Anglo-Universalism, etc., which is kind of like a liquidation of these more determinate, conservative land telluric cultures. And so that's really what Dugan is talking about. And Dugan's vision for the world is not so much that there will be like a bunch of nations competing. It's that this moment of sea power, of the British power of the sea, is just a moment in history, and we will return to the dominance of land and away from the dominance of the sea, of the British Empire, basically. It's almost like the return of history, in a sense. Also, what else was I going to say? There's something else I want to say. I mean, and when you think about it like this, when you think about this in terms of land and sea, that's why I think there's a degree of unity between LaRouche's ideas and Dugan's ideas, because LaRouche literally wants to build the World Land Bridge. Like, the Americas have been separated from Asia, Africa, and Europe, right? And Dugan's analysis is centered very much on Asia, Africa, and Europe, because for most of history, that's been considered like the center of the world. But America, in building this land bridge, becomes united with the heartland, the very heartland of the world, the very center of the world. It becomes reunited with the land. So I see this world land bridge as a way of America turning away from its British influence, which is Atlanticist and based in a sea empire, and returning and joining back together with the very heartland of the world. It's going away from this liberal maritime empire and returning to a real determinate, conservative even land civilization.
Hold on, I would like to mention Haas. Haas has went live.
Yeah, let's end this. Let's end this space.
If you have something to say, Pesto, you have something to say real quick, Pesto. If not, I'll end the space. But if you got your last meeting, go ahead.
I have too much to say. Too much to say.
Let's wrap this up though, let's wrap this up since Haas is live now.
Yeah, I'm wrapping it up. All right, we'll probably host one of these again tomorrow or something. But see you guys later.
Land back.